Well, good morning, everybody. It is Saturday and welcome back to the shop. Now, you haven't seen me for a week because I ran into a problem. Monday morning, I tried to start spraying the base coat on my panels. And unbeknownst to me, I had not cleaned the gun well enough after spraying clear coat. Now, the problem with clear coat is it gets gummy quickly. So what ends up happening is when you're finished using your gun on clear, you have got to clean that gun immediately. And I was cleaning it incorrectly. And what I mean by incorrectly is although I was disassembling the gun and soaking it in acetone and using the brushes on everything, the right way to have done the cleaning initially would have been to empty the cup, put acetone right in the cup, and then using high pressure, run the acetone through the gun, and that would have gone through all of the little venturi, because what I found is in the gun, there's a couple of small holes, and they're just the size of sewing needles. I mean, very small, and they were plugged. So what had happened is when I started spraying the base coat, the base became what I refer to as a hot spot. So instead of getting that nice fan, what I was getting was like the number 8. Think of the number 8, heavy on the top, heavy on the bottom, and thin in the center. And what was happening is I started spraying it, it was behaving initially, but before you realized it, I started seeing these stripes down the paint, which means it literally was leaving what's referred to as tiger stripes. So I could not continue. I literally stopped. I had to throw that paint out because it's useless now. It's all been mixed. And what I ended up doing is giving it a couple of days, make sure everything was 100% dry, and then I had to wet sand my base coat. Now, normally when you hear somebody saying they're wet sanding their base coat is because they're doing a $10,000 paint job. But in my case, I just needed to get the base coat back to a consistent color. Now, the challenge with base coat is that it really gets inside of the sandpaper. So every time you're wet sanding and you feel the sandpaper even start to stick just a bit, you have to stop. Because what has happened is that a particulate has gotten into the sandpaper and it now starts leaving a mark on the base coat. So it probably took me about 2 days of wet sanding, very slowly, taking my time, cleaning the sandpaper all the time, to get to the point where my panels were back to a mottled base coat, which is like a first coat of base coat. I then had to respray everything. So I waited for today because the weather was terrible yesterday. So here it is Saturday, great day outside, and I've done it. So I resprayed all of the base. I resprayed 3 coats of clear. So I think I've learned my lesson. It cost me a week and it cost me some time, but I think the results speak for themselves.
So forgive the face mask, but there's still a lot of off-gassing going on in here, and I'm going to turn the fan back on real quickly. But I've got a very flat clear. It's 3 coats. There is some orange peeling, and that is where I put it on too thick. Remember, one of the causes of orange peel is too thick. And it should have been a lot lighter, and I got a little too close to the panel, so a bit of orange peel, but easy to sand out and polish out. So we have the hood done. I've got the trunk done over there. Obviously, the front valance, the rear valance, and all of the associated parts on the table. So what's next?
So what is the next step? Well, it is to wait for these panels to harden up. I'm going to give them a couple of days. I don't want to bother them. So let them harden up. I'm going to take them out, and then I'm going to bring the Mustang in. We're going to mask the Mustang off, and we're going to do the trunk, right? So let's get that trunk done. Let's get that rear seat panel done. You know, might as well, spray the entire interior where all the gray is. So if you do see through something, you're going to see blue, you're not going to see gray. So let's get that done first. And then we can mask it off, and then we can turn our attention to the panel. So that'll be sometime next week. Well, but like I said, just make sure that when you are cleaning that gun after using it on clear, that it is spotless. And a real way to do it, as I did, is to put the acetone in the cup, run the acetone through the gun under high pressure, and then take the gun apart and clean it. So, lesson learned. I should have done that in the first place, but put me back a week. A little bit of extra work, but lesson learned. So, hope you enjoyed the video. Panels are done. Let's move our attention to the car. If you like the video, obviously hit that like button, and I'll see you again.